episode 2 of the Turbo S. You've just seen me unwrap these amps. Quattro, 51K, Bit 1 HD Virtuoso. Lovely bit of kit. Me and Jamie have been working on the loom. The loom's now through. You saw in the last one, we were just letting the bonding go off on the grommet between the bulkhead on the first bulkhead through into the car, and then the secondary bulkhead we've just finished and put the tub back in, so you won't see that, but the looms are in and tied down the side and they come out the bottom, which I'll show you now. And then we're going to figure out now what we've got in terms of footprint to place the amps and DSP. We're probably going to go down in the bottom of the sort of tray area this time around rather than up against the bulkhead. For no particular reason, we just want to lay them out like that, figure out if that is a better way to do it than in our car, or yeah, you know, if we don't like it, we'll change it and we'll do it the way that we've done it in ours because we know that it works. So yeah, we'll get these in now. Like I say, wiring's in there. We've got to do a bit of fusing, things like that, do some distro, and then on with the fab work to make this all look like it was meant to be there. And I think we'll lose probably 4 inches of the bottom of the tub, but I don't think we're going to have to come up any of the sides or edges or anything like that. So yeah, let's get to it.
I said a hip hop, the hip it to the hip hop, you don't stop the rocker to the bang bang boogie. Say up jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat. Now what you hear is not a test, I'm rapping to the beat. And me, the groove, and my friends are gonna try to move your feet. You see, I am Wonder Mike and I like to say hello. To the black, to the white, the red, and the brown, the purple, and yellow. But first I gotta bang bang the boogie to the boogie. Say up jump the boogie to the bang bang boogie. Let's rock, you don't stop, rock the rhythm that I'm in.
OEM fixings. You should be able to wiggle around a little. I'll just get an Allen key to try. Have you?
I've got it on the impact.
Got one, have you? Yeah.
On the impact drive, yeah.
That's alright. I'll put it on a ratchet screwdriver just so that. Feels lovely, doesn't it? Just straight up, sort of. And we're good. So we're just going to line up with you've probably just seen us put this in with some aluminium fittings into the aluminium floor, which give us a what we call a blind threaded rib nut. Gives us a threaded hole that we can put stainless fixing into to hold our panel down. And now we're going to line up the amps and see what we need to build for an amp rack to get them all in. Probably going to have to go one on top of the other, and yeah. So we've come up with a way that we want the amps to be. One's going to be on top of the other. Because we don't want to sit one on top of the other. We want an air gap to get, you know, to keep them cool. Where they're going to be is quite restricted anyway. We have made some metal pipes, some metal tubes. What we're going to do, we're going to drop these into here, like so. They're all the same length. Jamie's just working on one now, just burring off the edges. Drop them into there. The other amp will sit on top. One bolt will go through from the top all the way through both of the amps. That will hold that amp to this pipe will hold that amp to the deck, and the bolt will hold it all together. 4 of them lined up, which is pretty smart actually, because it'll give us 15mm of clear airspace above the amplifier and below the 51K. This will be the top amplifier, because this runs a lot warmer than the Quattro because of its sort of Class A nature. So yeah, effectively, if the other amp wasn't there, that would be what it looks like, and it would pass all the way through the other amplifier. Now, to do this, we've got to drill the amplifier out. There's nothing wrong with the amplifier. They're just tricky to mount anyway, you know, if you don't just blast a screw through there into the floor. So if you ever want to bolt in here, you can never put a hex on there. You've always got to put an Allen bolt in there because of the way that they're designed. So this hole here is very small, the hole on the back. So we've got to make that hole the same as the core of these tubes, which I'm going to do now. I'm just going to mask up the vent pieces on the back, and away we go. But this is probably the 10th one I've had to do this to, so it's not it's not a big deal. Through we go, and that makes it that large. There's still loads of shoulder on the inside. What this does is it stops us having multiple boards inside there as well, multiple thicknesses, weight, heat, things like that. So yeah, it's probably the lightest and coolest scenario for the amps, which is always good news. So we're going to press on and see you back at the car in a bit. Oh, the camera turns the mic on. Sorry. What's Stu on about?
You seen the grey scissors?
Jamie's got them. He might even have them over there right now.
Grey scissors.
Don't lie, I saw you with them. So, we're on the amp rack. Continued from yesterday. We're making our own RCAs and stuff. Yeah, nothing is sort of finished at the moment, so I'll show you through this. We're going to put this. Jamie, did you make those little inch-long stands?
There's those 2 there.
Oh yeah, there they are. Yeah, so we're going to space our DSP up with the same sort of stands. We're going to send our RCAs just into the channel between the 2 amplifiers, which will be, yeah, quite nice. But only half of them are done, so here's our rack, and this is our braiding in here. Power cable in that end, grounds will be in, but they're in the car, and the speaker cables are in the car as well. So the rack can't go together at the minute because the top amp will have to move over to get to the speaker terminals on the bottom amplifier. So yeah, we're going to carry on. Sorry about the camera there. I'm just trying to put you down somewhere. We're going to carry on with this now. And then we're going to time lapse the rack, but this rack should be together today, at least on the board, and then it'll be in with the car, which we'll show you in a minute.
Your body rock. Well, so far you've heard my voice, but I brought 2 friends along. And next on the mic is my man Hank. Come on, Hank, sing that song. Check it out, I'm the CASN, the OVA, and the rest is FLY. You see, I go by the code of the doctor of the mix, and these reasons I'll do. Tell you why. You see, I'm 6'1" and I'm tons of fun, and I dress to a T. You see, I got more clothes than Muhammad Ali, and I dress so viciously. I got bodyguards, I got 2 big guns, I definitely ain't the whack. I got a Lincoln Continental and a sunroof Cadillac. So after school I take a dip in the pool, which is really on the wall. I got a color TV so I can see.
It's time for all the little bits on the rack, and yeah, RCA work is done. That's about as far as we can go outside of the car, so we'll be putting it in the car, but home time. Looking forward to this one.
The Knicks play basketball, him and talking about checkbook, credit cards, more money than a sucker could ever spend. But I wouldn't give a sucker or a punk from the rock, and not a dime till I made it again. Everybody go, hotel.
So after all that, this is a few days later. The rack is done. The subfloor is done that holds the top floor. The floor itself is done, trimmed. Let's take a look in front of the car first. So that is how this car will look all of the time. That panel there is, Stu's just going to lift it out now, is a removable panel which is vented for the amplifier. So just take a look at the back of that there, and then that's what's in there. So we've got our 5.1K, our Quattro, the panel that holds up the floor, which is supported by the bottom floor, and then the Virtuoso and distro in there. As you see, there's no fuses or anything in there now, and that's out in seconds, and it's back in seconds for if we need access, and if the client needs access. And then going through into the car, the actual box, which is seen from the Sorry, Stu, they were your sockets, weren't they? I'll pick them up. I'll pick them up in a sec. There you go, mate. It's time to go home because it's 4 o'clock on a Friday and we fancy an early day.
Yeah, what you gonna do today? I'm gonna get a fly girl, gonna get some spank and drive off in a death OJ. Everybody go hotel, motel, holiday inn.